A 120-pound Rottweiler was found tied to a highway guardrail at 6 a.m. on a Monday morning. No food, no water, just a fraying rope and a worn tennis ball sitting beside him in the dirt. 3 families saw his photo online. Every single one passed. Then one woman drove 47 miles to meet him. And what that dog did on the drive home changed everything she thought she knew about herself. Laura Simmons was 37 years old and had spent the last 2 years rebuilding. A divorce that nobody saw coming, an apartment that still had boxes she hadn't unpacked, a car with 2 empty seats, and a radio she kept at low volume because silence felt better than noise. She wasn't broken, she told herself that every morning. She was just in between. She had no intention of getting a dog. She definitely had no intention of getting a 120-pound Rottweiler with a head like a cinder block and paws that looked like they belonged on something prehistoric. It started with a photo. A coworker forwarded her a rescue post on a Wednesday afternoon. A Rottweiler, 2 years old, found tied to a guardrail on Route 9 at dawn. The note left with him said only, "His name is Duke. He is gentle. Please." Laura stared at the photo for a long time. Then she closed her laptop. Then she opened it again. By Friday morning, she was in her car driving 47 miles, telling herself she was only going to look. Duke was in the far corner of the rescue yard when she arrived, not pacing, not barking, just sitting very still with his tennis ball between his front paws, watching the gate. The rescue volunteer, a young woman named Becca, walked over quietly. He's been here for 61 days. 3 families inquired about him online, none came in person. He's calm, healthy, 0 aggression, but he's large and people get nervous. His previous owner left him on that guardrail at 6 in the morning and drove away. We found the tennis ball next to him. He hasn't let go of it since. Laura walked over slowly. Duke looked up. He didn't stand, he didn't bark. He picked up his tennis ball, carried it to her feet, and set it down. Then he sat back and waited, like he was offering the only thing he had. She signed the paperwork 40 minutes later. The drive home was when everything started. Laura opened the back door for Duke. He looked at the back seat, then he looked at the front seat, then he walked around to the passenger side and sat on the pavement staring at her. She opened the passenger door, he climbed in, all 120 pounds of him, settled into the seat and placed his enormous head on the center console. She pulled out of the parking lot and he turned to look at her the entire way home, not out the window, at her, like he was making sure she wasn't going to pull over and change her mind. She didn't. The passenger seat was never hers again. Duke claimed it the way he claimed everything else over the following weeks, quietly, completely, without apology. The window on his side accumulated a full collection of nose prints. He learned within 4 days that if he placed one paw on her arm while she drove, she would reach over and scratch behind his ear. He used this information every single morning. What Laura hadn't expected was the weight of him. Not his physical weight, though that was considerable. The other kind, the kind that fills a space that has been empty for a long time. She started taking longer routes to work, not because of traffic, because Duke would rest his head on the console and breathe slowly, and somehow that made the whole morning feel less like something to get through. She stopped checking her phone at red lights. She stopped replaying old arguments in her head. There was just the road and Duke and the quiet between them that felt nothing like the quiet she had been living in before. Some mornings she drove an extra 12 minutes just to hear him breathe. I see you're still watching but haven't subscribed yet. That honestly stings a little. Hit subscribe. You'll want to be here for what comes next. 6 weeks in, Laura had a bad night. She sat in the parked car in her own driveway for 20 minutes after work, unable to go inside. Duke was in the passenger seat beside her. He didn't paw at her, he didn't whine. He shifted slowly, leaned across the console, and pressed the full side of his face against hers. Just stayed there, warm and heavy and completely still. She cried in a parked car at 7:19 p.m. on a Tuesday with 120 pounds of Rottweiler holding her up from the passenger seat. She didn't know how long they sat there. Long enough. When she finally got out, he followed her to the front door and waited until she was inside before he lay down. Stories like this don't get told enough, and the ones that do deserve to be heard.
From that night on, the routine became something she looked forward to. Every morning, Duke appeared at the front door with his tennis ball before she finished her coffee. The moment her keys came off the hook, he was already at the passenger door, sitting straight, nose forward, ready. He monitored every turn. He observed every traffic light with the focused attention of someone who had opinions about the route. One woman at the coffee drive-thru window leaned so far out she nearly fell. "Is that a bear?" Laura said. "Sometimes it feels like it." Neighbors started recognizing the car not by the make or color, but by the giant black and tan head visible in the passenger window from half a block away. A man named Roy, who walked his beagle every morning, started timing his route to cross paths with them. His beagle, a small, nervous dog named Chip, had taken 3 weeks to stop trembling near Duke. Now they walked side by side like old friends. A teenage girl at the corner store kept a jar of treats behind the counter specifically for Duke. She restocked it twice a month. And the woman at the dry cleaner, who had once taken a full step back when she saw him through the glass, now came outside before Laura even parked, just to say hello. On a night in November, 11 months after adoption, Laura woke at 3:19 a.m. to Duke standing beside her bed, completely still, which was somehow worse than pacing. She got up. He walked to the hallway, stopped at the top of the stairs, and looked down. She followed. The front door was open. She had forgotten to lock it, and the latch had come loose in the wind. Duke stood at the threshold, looking out into the dark street, and then looked back at her. She closed the door, locked it, and stood in the hallway with her heart loud in her chest. Duke walked over and sat beside her, calm, present, like it was simply part of the job. The same dog 3 families had scrolled past online. The same dog tied to a guardrail at dawn with nothing but a tennis ball and a note. He had just stood at the top of her stairs at 3:19 in the morning and made sure she was safe. Today, Duke is 3 years old. He still takes the passenger seat. The nose prints on the window have become a permanent feature Laura stopped cleaning months ago. He still brings his tennis ball to the front door every morning. Roy still times his walk. Chip no longer trembles. The girl at the corner store still keeps the treats. And every single drive, no matter how short, Duke rides with his head on the console and his eyes on Laura like she is the only destination that has ever mattered. She drove 47 miles to meet him. He has been riding beside her every day since. She used to think the passenger seat was just an empty space. Now she knows it was always waiting for him. Not all wounds announce themselves. Some just sit quietly beside you, breathe slowly, and wait until you are ready to move again. If you are thinking about adopting, open the door, all the way, because the right dog doesn't wait for an invitation. They just climb in and stay. Would you give a 120-pound Rottweiler your passenger seat, or would you have been one of the 3 who scrolled past? Tell me in the comments.